My name is Bohning. I'm 18 years old and I live in West Palm Beach, Florida. I like skating. I love filming. That's what I want to major in college. I like drawing a lot. Whenever I see something, I'll just be like, doodle in the notebook. I have nothing else to do. And basically, I just like reading a lot. After I was diagnosed with epilepsy, my schoolwork started to go down because I was always at the hospital and I couldn't pay attention. And it just kind of changed in that aspect. I wasn't doing good in schoolwork. And a big part was I was always getting made fun of because during that time of me being in the hospital so much, I never had the time to learn how to interact with people my age. And when I got older, not a lot of people understood what epilepsy was, and they would make fun of me for those things. And it affected me with my confidence. And then over time, I met friends along the way that just helped me build that up. They treated me like a regular person. They didn't treat me as this fragile person. They interacted with me as if they didn't know I had epilepsy, but they were always aware of what to do if I were to have a seizure. At first, I didn't know what epilepsy was, but then by the time I got to the age 9, 10, 11, I was like, oh, I don't want to be epileptic. This is such stress. It's so stressful on me. I don't know what this is. And by the time of 13, I was like, what's epilepsy? And I started doing the walks and I started learning more about it. And my mom would always tell me what's going on. And now I accept the fact I'm epileptic. And I try to strive to let people that have epilepsy want to do what they want to do and don't let epilepsy hold them back. One of the treatments that I call as a treatment is at the age of 10, I started going to figure skating. And at first my mom was like, are you sure you want to do this? She was being a little cautious about it. I was like, yeah, I want to do this. Well, if you only get A's and B's on your report card, never, ever again have I gotten a C. She put me into it and my headache started going away. I was having less seizures. And because of skating, I gained confidence, I got friends, and that became my rock. It's something that means so much to me because it did so much for me. It improved everything in my life. It made me happier and not just like a couch potato doing nothing. It keeps me active, it keeps the brain active. You're always learning new things. Oh, I messed up on something. How do I fix that? What do I do? It's like a puzzle. You learn how to put it together to make the perfect piece. At State Games, which is a statewide event, if you win that, you can go to State Games America, which is all the states. And I won first place there 4 times. I was #1 in my level for 3 years straight. In jumps, I got 2nd place. And interpretive, there's so many events that I did. And I practiced so much, I just got so many medals. It was like medal after medal after medal. And at competition, I'd have 3 at a time on my chest, and I'd wear them for the next 3 days, go to school with them. What's the medal for? Figure skating. I had a disadvantage with skating in the hospital because I would leave skating for however long I was in the hospital or I was having seizures, and that would affect my strive to get higher. It would go from, oh, I'm making this jump, and then I have the seizure, and it's like, oh, I don't have it anymore. And it was just, whenever I feel like I was going up, I would have to go back down because I had a seizure and I was sick. So it was a disadvantage for me because everyone that was at my level was getting higher and I was getting lower. And I would always miss skating whenever I was at the hospital. I went to a competition and a coach and former skater, John Zimmerman, came up to my mother and I and was telling me, oh, I co-found this book called Skating Forward, and the author is doing a 2nd book. Your story is amazing. Why don't you put it in the book? So my mom found her on Facebook. Well, I think she found us on Facebook. And she wrote to us, and my mom told her my story. And she sent us questions, and it's like, fill out these questions and send me a picture, and I'll feature you in the book. And at the time, my mom was like, that's too good to be true, no way. And then I got sent a copy. It was emotional for me because I knew everyone was reading it. And when I feel like you read emotional stories about people, it kind of makes you understand their perspective, not just how you feel about the situation. You know the personal sides. And I was glad that that book was published and people read my story, because people tell me all the time it's inspirational. And it just was that moment of, that is the biggest achievement in my life, to be able to be in a book. And it makes me happy to know I changed someone's life. I started volunteering with the Epilepsy Foundation, and I would start talking with other people and kids that had the same problems I was going through. And I would talk and I would hear like what they went through, and I'm just like, wow, sometimes it'd be like less than what I've gone through, but sometimes it'd just be worse, and it'd make me grateful for what I went through. And I would tell them my story, and they'll just be like, that inspires me to go do something, and go do a sport, go draw, go do whatever your passion is. And I feel like that's how I affected most people. Right now in my life, I am a skating teacher at my local skating rink, and I hope to keep on doing that throughout college, which college I would like to go for film, because I have this wild imagination that just keeps on going out of control. And I was like, I need to do something with this. And I want to be a film director or a producer or a writer. And I want to get my ideas out there. So I hope to go to film school. I see myself making film comedies. I love comedy. I'm always cracking jokes. I'm goofy. I make like the weirdest faces, and I'll just think of a joke and I'll say it out loud to my best friend. She'll die. She'll be like, just, she can't hold it in. But also I can see myself making thrillers, because I've always liked thrillers. I'm like, oh, what's gonna happen next? What's gonna be that next boom in the movie? So I always like that. I remain positive in my life no matter what struggle I go through, because I live by this one quote called, an arrow can only strive forward by pulling it back. And when life pulls you back with difficulties, it's shooting somewhere great. And I believe in that quote. Hi, I'm Bohning, and I'm 1 in 26.